Good afternoon, everyone. I am Carolyn Banach, the principal of Milford High School, and I am here today with Coach Boucher, our district athletic director. And we are here today to talk about the importance of student involvement in co-curricular activities. Students who blend high standards for academic achievement and involvement in our co-curricular school develop a strong sense of purpose and belonging to the school community. It is through these affiliations that students build relationships with peers, teachers, coaches, all the adults in the school community who can help them achieve their goals. Students learn and grow as part of something that is very special and bigger than themselves, part of a team, a group, an assembly of young people who are passionate about a particular sport, activity, or club. It is through participation in school and community activities that students develop a sense of identity, of who they are and what is important to them. The contributions that each and every student member of an organization contributes is incredibly meaningful because that is how the group is strengthened, through ideas, talent, and energy. These qualities that bring our students together in their co-curricular experiences. The foundation of student involvement in school and community activities starts early on, and it's so important to help students find their niche because in doing so, it connects them to the experiences that develop them as a young person of character. Additionally, when students find an area that they are passionate about and care very deeply for, it is likely that they will pursue involvement in that activity beyond high school. And that takes us to the importance of co-curricular activities in the college admissions process. When decisions are being made at the collegiate level, one of the driving questions for the Office of Admissions is, how is this candidate going to make our college or university better? What is it about this applicant that sets them apart from all the other applicants that we have as a potential candidate? We want to instill in our students that academic excellence coupled with community and school involvement leads to significant options and opportunity for college admissions and scholarships. Coach Boucher, you worked at the regional and state level with the MIAA in developing student leadership in our student athletes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, thank you for bringing that up. So I was very fortunate last year to be invited to sit on the Educational Athletics Committee for the state level at the MIAA. And we talk a lot about, I think some of the things you just spoke about are very important. One of the things that we really talk about with that leadership piece of it is that, students tend to see their school as a second home if they can get involved with a club or a co-curricular or an extracurricular. It could be something academic, it could be something musical, it could be something athletic. But basically, if we can encourage our kids to commit, as early as possible, for example, in the 9th grade, then they're going to see that high school as their second home. They spend a lot of time there each day, 7-8 hours a day, and then 2 or 3 hours with that co-curricular activity. Basically, it becomes a second home to them, and they become much more marketable when it comes to the workforce or the collegiate situation, as you were speaking about. So we tend to take a look at that on the Educational Athletic Committee, and where we've gone as a school with your support, the school committee support, and really the entire school system altogether, is we've really built this leadership academy that you've spoken at, and then we're moving into our 3rd year, where basically the first year was just us student leaders with athletics. This past summer, we're kind of expanding where we've brought the musical, the student leadership there. Next year, we hope to be adding some of our co-curricular leaderships with some of our academic clubs, our student leaders and whatnot, and really just trying to diffuse leadership throughout the school at a student level. And speaking of that student leadership, I think, didn't we just host a peer mentoring leadership summit, something to that nature that you were, you encouraged or you set up?
Absolutely. So each year we work with Core Trainings. Deborah and Dana Holt
Yes.
are the
people.
founders of Core Trainings, and they've worked with Milford High School for years now in our peer mentoring program. And so they come and they will train, they come twice. They train the female students who are the up-and-coming peer mentors and the male students who are up-and-coming peer mentors on 2 separate occasions.
Okay.
And so Mrs. Holt trains the female students and Mr. Holt trains the male students. And this is all part of our freshman orientation program and the marketing campaign where we have the Step Up Day
Yes.
for
Yep.
the
With Stacy Middle
incoming,
School.
right,
Yep.
with Stacy for the incoming 9th grade students. And so the peer mentors are trained at the 10th grade level to be the next generation, if you will, of peer mentors.
Right,
so
right, okay.
Always in training. So we have 12th grade peer mentors and 11th grade peer mentors who have gone through this training. And so just last week, we had the training for the 10th grade students. And so there's a lot of leadership that is developed in these workshops with students so that they can then organize the freshman orientation program. And which is a significant event that we
That's a
have
big
every
undertaking.
August.
I've watched what we do. It's actually phenomenal, to be honest with you. It's one of the
And
best
we're
I've seen.
so fortunate too to have. We have over 100 students in the peer mentoring program, and
That's a lot of kids to train.
it is
So
a lot.
it's a big initiative for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it then leads not only into the freshman orientation program, but we have the peer mentoring homerooms with our freshman students
Right.
every month throughout the school year, and there's a different theme each month. So it could be the first theme is getting involved. Knowing what the student
Yep.
activities
Yep.
are, what the athletics
Beginning of
are,
the school year.
what opportunities are available to students. So we talk about that at the orientation, but then at the September meeting, we make sure students are signing up and following through. If they signed up at the showcase the prior year, then
right. There's a follow-up, there's a touch, they connect with that crew. One of my observations from the showcase was, number one, it's phenomenal to have all those, kids coming in. We had a showcase just a couple weeks ago that, you and I helped organize, and we had all of our varsity coaches, we had all of our captains, we had all of our activities, we had a ton of academic clubs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there were 60 tables where the 8th graders came in. I mean, we were busy all night. I don't even think we really got to present because it was so busy in the gym, and we did tours of the school, the new fitness center, the music setup that we have with the amphitheater. We went to the pool with the weight room. I mean, you talk about that. But if you take it back a step, one of the things that I've been impressed with the peer mentors and talking about leadership was the visit with the Stacy Middle School 8th grade comes to the high school.
Right.
I think that's powerful. But the leadership piece, you mentioned 100 students. There were 2 or 3 that I was able to observe, 2 or 3 peer mentors with every homeroom from Stacy.
Right.
And they come in, they connect with the kids, which is another critical piece of entering high school, and just feeling at home. So when you have these 2 or 3 mentors who really connect with you throughout the year, and certainly for that one introduction to the high school, I think that was powerful. But I was fortunate enough to watch some of the tours and see the kids interacting. The connection piece, which is a big component of leadership. These kids want to feel comfortable. Most of these kids, a high 90 percentile of these kids are coming to Milford High School because of all the great activities that they get to see, and I think you've done a great job. I think the school has done a great job with this showcase to show people really what we're doing from an academic standpoint and activity standpoint with clubs, co-curriculars, extracurriculars, and certainly with our academics. You've been in other school systems, I've been in other school systems, and personally, I think Milford High School, and I might be a little bit biased right now, but I think we're the best at all of that. I think we really are sort of this gem of the region, without a doubt. With what we're doing, so I think it's fantastic.
Well, I think, and I agree, because I had a chance to see a lot of the peer mentors on those tours as well, and the high energy and the engagement and the interest with the 8th grade students, and the peer mentors were talking about their advanced placement classes and letting the students know that you can take advanced placement as a 9th grade student. We have advanced placement world history,
not every high school can do that.
Absolutely not, and go all the way up through senior year, taking any number of 19 different AP courses that we have, plus what we don't have, which there aren't too many APs that we don't have, but those that we don't, we had students explaining that you can take those courses through virtual high school.
Yes.
So students still have an opportunity to take an advanced placement course that the high school might not offer. But also just about, when going back to the engagement, students talking about that they were on the football team, or they played tennis, or they maybe they went on one of our 4 exchange programs.
Right.
Because we have the exchanges to Italy, Spain, France, and China.
Yes.
So a lot of the students have had an opportunity to go on one of the exchanges as well. Students who are involved in SAD, the Science Olympiad is huge now, along with Academic Decathlon and the Microfinance Club. So there's just so much that I saw students sharing with the
And that's
incoming
just the tip
freshmen.
of the iceberg. I mean, I'm actually impressed that you can remember all these. I know the sports, it's difficult, but I think that's something that I was able to notice too. It was nice to see. And I would say, you know, I've had a number of leadership positions, as have you, before we both came to Milford here. And I think one of the things that I've learned is that students love hearing from student leaders. You know, it's great. It's easy for you to get up and talk about, we're well-versed in what we consider ourselves to be experts in. Right. But what I'm noticing is if you bring a captain or the president of a particular club, and they're on the peer mentoring staff, and they're able to sit down, I think that the connections that they make, I think you talked about that was so powerful. It's so much, it just seems much more organic when a student is talking about it and you have a younger person listening, and they might have seen that captain or that president or that executive board leader in a newspaper article somewhere or on some type of social media, and it makes a connection with them. I really think that they take the information probably more strongly from a student leader. So I think that those programs are fantastic when you have the student leaders working with the younger students. I love to see that. It's awesome.
Well, and I think too that there's different types of leadership. We have students who are leaders in so many different regards.
Sure.
So you'll have your elected student leaders, whether on student leadership council or class officers and so forth. But then you also have your leaders who are leaders by the way they conduct themselves in an activity or through their athletic program. Maybe they're the leader that when the team is feeling despair because they had a tough loss, there's leaders that are able to pick the others up and help them get up and move on with it, and let's get on to practice, and let's get excited about our next competition. You need those type of leaders who, by their presence, they inspire others. Maybe they're not the elected leader, and perhaps maybe they're not even a captain sometimes, but they have a presence that others respond to. And I think that's very important for students to remember, that there's all different types of leaders.
No, that's a great point, and we talk about that. We teach about that in our own internal leadership academy that we've talked about. We've already explained this to the folks at home. But we talk about there's different types of leadership, and it depends on your own personality and your comfort level. And we do try to teach the kids. We use the word stretch. Try to really ramp up your leadership style. But there certainly are kids who just simply lead by example. They don't have to yell. They don't have to be loud. Just by showing up every day, being a little bit early to practice, working incredibly hard, whether they're injured or not feeling great. I mean, I always talk to all of our coaches and any of our kids, who are out there listening. Just rarely does anybody feel 100%. So if you have, I always say, if you have 87%, give us 88% today. If you only have 70%, give us 71%. Give us a little bit more. But there certainly is something that we talk about with that lead by example. And then you have sort of your more vocal leaders, the rah-rah kids. And you need those.
Absolutely.
Those are the kids that come in and get everybody fired up if we're not doing well in a game or some sort of academic competition. You do need someone to kind of give that spark. And it might not be a lead by example, but it's sort of that rah-rah person who just has got to really lead with their words or their verbiage or whatnot. So we do tend to, we actually spend a fair amount of time on taking a peek at what's your personality the first day of that leadership academy, and really trying to merge it and figure it out, but merge it with this leadership style, and then we give them skills that can kind of ramp that up. So I mean, I don't know how many high schools are doing that. I know that we're one of the few.
Right.
And I think, with your leadership and with what the entire school has been doing, I think it is fair to share that the MIA has spoken to both you and I. They now want Milford High School to host a leadership summit, and I think it's pretty cool to mention that we're going to be the staff for that. The MIA is not bringing anybody with them. They're basically saying, we really want to see what you guys are doing, because what you've done the last couple of years in your academics, your athletics, and your activities is so powerful that we would like you, Milford High School, to present that to the rest of the state. So I know you and I haven't locked down a date, but they're looking for late January, early February, where Milford High School is going to take center stage, and folks from all across the state are going to come for a one-day seminar, sort of a summit, with us. So I think you and I
that
are ready to roll, right?
That is remarkable. And that's to your credit, because you've really taken the lead with that in our region and at the state level. But to have the MIAA reach out to you and say, hey, we hear about the great work you're doing with your Leadership Academy.
Well, I have to throw it back to you and the school committee and Dr. McIntyre. I think we've all, as a group, I just think we have a really motivated group. I think we have an expert group with the entire group of us for the most part. But one of the things that I throw it back to too at all points is the Milford community in general. They expect excellence. That's one of the reasons I worked so feverishly to jump on board here 3 years ago, was that this town expects excellence, and they will, one of the things I always mention is two components. They will back you with people power, or Milford will back you with finances. If I have found, and I'm pretty sure you have found too, that if you can explain the validity of why we want to do something, Milford's going to find the people or the finances to make it. Or you do, because you're the person I would check in with. But I do feel very strongly that Milford expects, and I love that. I love that challenge. I think this town expects us to be excellent, and I think they really want us to be the leaders in all genres, whether it's academics, athletics, activities, you name it. If Milford is offering it, I think they expect us to be the absolute best, and I love that. And I think you feel it. I know you feel the same way in the way that we've worked together the last 3 years. So I feel really good about that.
As do I. And we have seen as of late some outstanding students being accepted to some fine universities and colleges.
Absolutely.
So Yale,
Yale, Harvard. You talk about the Ivy League, but then you talk about a ton of Division I, Division II, Division III, and not just regional. It's around the country where we're really reaching out, and I think the colleges are taking a peek and saying Milford is sort of this melting pot of excellence, which I feel really great about, because I think we're all working towards that. We're trying to create opportunities through the leadership of our staff and our students for kids to really open doors for kids to move forward. And I think we're if we're not there, then we're on the springboard that's ready to jettison us forward. Because I honestly think we're there, and I think people are just starting to recognize that we are where we need to be, and it really is how do we get better? How do we get better? That's really the next step.
Well, it's as we said before, connections and relationships, and I think that we're really cultivating a lot more of that with the college Office of Admissions, with the coaches and so forth. I know I've seen a lot of coaches in and out over the last several weeks.
Yes, yep. I almost can't keep up with it.
I know it. It's great. And I just heard before we came over here today that a couple more seniors being accepted to Bates and to Syracuse.
Yes. Yep.
So that's excellent as well. So we're really looking forward to hearing.
No, it's fantastic, and I think not only are kids playing athletics or engaging in athletics at the next level, but I think you mentioned Harvard and Yale. We have kids who are simply going for strictly academics. Which, I mean. You have to be a great academic institution if these schools if these colleges are basically saying, hey, we want this Milford kid, or we want that Milford kid.
And I think so, and that goes back to what we were saying before, is the involvement and the relationship between high academic standards and co-curricular activities. Because students accepted at the highest levels into these Division I schools, the Ivy League schools, high academic achievement is number one.
Yes.
Now, if you're going to add some strong athletics, community involvement, leadership, that makes that candidate very interesting to that college or university.
No, that's a good point. And we work with our guidance director, Matt Bayonne, a lot. And I know I talk to a lot of the college recruiters, as do you, the academic recruiters and whatnot. And one of the things I know it's probably important to share with the folks at home is that we have this great academic background, but the colleges now are looking for well-rounded, comprehensive students. They want to see kids who have been on 1 or 2 athletic teams. They want kids who have been on some type of club. They want kids who can organize their time and really be excellent at a great many things. Where years ago, many years ago, when I was looking to get into college, they wanted a good academic background and 1 or 2 teams, and that was good enough. And I think it's become so competitive to get into some of these stronger collegiate situations that they want really, really strong, well-rounded students. And I think, when you started talking about the amount of clubs and the academic situations and the sports that we have, what better place to be than Milford High
Right.
School for, when we read through the list for the last showcase, I think it was 62 tables to be exact. One word, wow.
Yes.
I mean, if
Yes.
you want to do something, if you want to excel, then Milford High School is going to find a way for you to attack that avenue, or be on a club, or join an activity, or get on a team. We have connections with local community colleges.
Well, our early college high school
Yeah.
program right now with
Wow.
Framingham State, we have 20 students taking a Framingham State University course after school
Yeah.
for college
While they're
credit.
in high school, though,
While they're in
right?
high
So
school,
they're
and we
getting
have another
college
one
credit.
starting. That's right. Yeah. So it's phenomenal. And this spring, we're going to actually have 2 courses that are going to be offered to our
that
students.
to me is just, it's as good as it
Excellent.
gets. Right?
Well,
I think it's as good as it gets.
And when Milford's the place to be. This is the place for our students in our community. With school choice, students are trying to choice into the school
Yes.
now.
Yeah, it's gotten more competitive.
Absolutely. And so now, when students are going off to apply to college, the question again is, well, what does your school offer?
Right.
What do you have from
Right.
an academic standpoint? What do you have for athletics and co-curricular programs? And for the student, the question is, and what did you take advantage of?
Right,
So if you have a
exactly. That's a good
huge,
point.
robust
Yes.
AP program, an honors program, we have virtual high school, we have independent studies, we have all kinds of learning opportunities for students, and we have a wealth of athletics and clubs and co-curricular
sure, for
programs.
sure.
And so what the colleges will look at, because we send them our high school profile, which
Right,
outlines
right.
all the academic offerings.
So they get to
and-
see not only do they get to see with the student transcript what they actually partook in, but they also got to see this plethora of activities and academic situations
Right.
that what they had to choose from. So what did they take advantage of?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Pretty
So-
impressive as far as I can tell.
And that is why we are so enthusiastic about our students getting involved,
Right.
because we know from day one, the 9th grade, that begins the process of building an academic transcript and a co-curricular transcript.
Right.
And that includes all the activities that our students are doing in the community. I'm well aware we have a number of students
Yes.
who are involved in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and involved with their churches, and they're involved in all kinds of different activities that go on in the community.
So
And-
not even just connected like best buddies with the high school, but certain just
Right.
community-based. I mean, you talk about Project Snowstorm, which I think you
Yes,
and our head football coach started together and started to work with the community. That is one of the most impressive ones I've ever seen. Talk about leadership. You're talking about kids in the 21st century who, when it snows, not only do they go out and probably have to shovel at home, but they actually will go to a senior citizen, an identified senior citizen in their neighborhood, who they're going to go and help just out of the goodness of their heart, and help them snow shovel too. I love that one. I think that's one of the greatest ones I've ever seen. So,
Well, I have to actually give
Fantastic.
full credit to Mr. Chuck Calagione, because
Yes.
he
Yep.
is coordinating with the Senior Citizen Center, and in turn, we're helping in that process of
there's the people
organizing our
power,
student
right?
athletes, exactly,
Yep.
and our student leaders, and the number of students who have stepped up to say, yes, I'd be happy to
we
help
wanna
my
help.
neighbor.
We wanna give back,
Yes,
you know?
it's just been remarkable. So Mr. Calagione, he's done a great job being the liaison between the school and the senior center, and making sure we're
Yeah,
taking care
for
of our
sure, for
seniors
sure.
in the community. So much to be proud of with our students. They are our students, young men and women of honor and nobility, and we are so incredibly proud of them. And continuing these conversations around how important it is to be involved in school, involved in community, and blending that with the highest standards of academic achievement, that will set them on the path of
absolutely,
success.
it's if I can coin the phrase, relentless pursuit of excellence. We use that a lot, right? You and I use that a
Absolutely,
lot.
yes.
It's why not be the best? Why shouldn't we be working hard to be the best in everything that we do? And I think kids that choose to come to Milford High School make a great choice, because I think personally, and again, you and I have worked in different high schools, I think we're the best high school that I've ever seen.
Absolutely,
And it's a great
absolutely.
place
It's
to be.
an honor and a privilege to be a part of this community. So I'd like to take just a moment to show the community this beautiful bracelet that is being sold by the Milford High School After Prom Committee. As you can see, there's the beautiful Milford High School emblem, a crimson red bead, and the American flag on this bracelet, and if you are interested in purchasing one, please contact a member of the After Prom Committee, or you are welcome to contact my office as well. These are being sold to support the Milford High School After Prom for the class of 2017. All proceeds will go to that very special night for our graduating seniors at Penns. So I thank you for your support, and please contact any member of the After Prom Committee or my office, and would be happy to help you if you're interested in purchasing one of these lovely bracelets. So thank you. Thank you very much for joining Coach Boucher and I this afternoon. We are delighted to have some time to spend with you and look forward to having future conversations with you and the Milford community. Thank you.